Moonveil and Miru. We're going to be going first with our Labyrinth. Activate the Arius to set the big welcome, making it activatable the turn it's set. As we're going to activate Lady Labyrinth to summon itself onto the field. As we're going to activate the big welcome. This is a major choke point here, especially when there's a Lady Labyrinth on field. We're going to gain so much advantage here. Summon from the deck, return back the Lady, set any trap we want from the deck. So if you could Chain Link block it with literally anything, ideally an Ash Blossom would be the way, because it also negates the effect. That turns off so much value the deck is generating here. Thus the Ash negates and probably has now won the entire duel off of that single play. We're going to chain the Arius to Reborn from Engrave, as the Moonveil has no other hand traps in sight. What do we do now? Super Poly needs to discard a card. The Stovey needs to discard a card. What the heck? Labyrinth into Fiendsmith, turning both bodies into a moon, now into a Fiendsmith Requiem. As we summon from the deck our Crimson Tear, send from the deck Engraver here. Engraver reborn itself back onto the field, turn both bodies on the field into a Fiendsmith sequence. Sequence activate and fuse with the Graveyard, 3 bodies into our Fiendsmith Desiree. Turn both bodies into the Egnumde. Egnumde is going to reborn the Desiree back onto the field here. Sequence equipping onto the Desiree, 5800 untargetable beast, which is going to be able to negate up to 5 cards on the field non-targeting, plus Super Poly. So we have about 2 disruptions. Wait, doesn't a Big Welcome work with the Desiree? Big Welcome Engrave states that if you control a level 8 or higher fiend, you could target any card your opponent controls to return it to the hand, which would be the Desiree. So we do have triple disruption thanks to the Desiree being level 9 fiend. Tracked, add a Lacrima to discard the in-hand Lurie. Activate Lurie to Reborn. Lurie now come forth into a Requiem. Requiem will activate to summon from the deck here. As we come forth into an Engraver. Engraver cannot target the Desiree to send it to the graveyard. We're going to Crimson Tear, normal summon, send another Engraver here as we turn both bodies into a sequence. Sequence activate and fuse of the graveyard. We are not going to use Desiree to negate. We're going to wait. Now it's Desiree versus Desiree. We're going to use the Big Welcome Labyrinth to activate, target the Desiree, return it back into the extra deck. It has the secondary effect when sent to the grave to send a card from the field to the grave, which now has gone. Very well done on the Big Welcome play. As we're going to send a Diablo Star to summon a Diablo Star activating to put into our back row our original Sinful. We made Desiree negate that. Activate original, send Diablo Star. We do not negate, as there now is a Hydrant on the field. We are still holding on to our negate as we further go into the Hydrant sequence, turning into a Promethean Princess after searching for a Preventer. We're going to use the Promethean to Reborn from the grave, the Hydrant to now chain our Super Poly to fuse both of their bodies into a Moo Dragon. Engraver is going to be returning itself back onto the field by returning back the sequence. Their entire field of monsters are untargetable here, so the Engraver cannot send the Moo Dragon. We're going to use Preventer to banish to summon itself from the hand here. And now we're going to activate the Desiree on the final card. There's no other extra knowledge. Everything is fully out in the open as we use the Desiree to negate not just the Bonfire, but every other card on the field. But the Preventer, when sent to the grave by summoning a sequence using the Engraver, is going to trigger to Reborn back onto the field our Hydrant. They're going to turn the sequence and Hydrant into an Ignumde. There's no Desiree in graveyard. There is an Engraver, though. We're going to use the Ignumde to Reborn back onto the field our Engraver, boosting it up to 3,600 attack, further boosting it to 4,800 attack, further boosting it to 6,000 attack, as it can now be big enough to take out the opposing Desiree, which will trigger the Desiree to send a card from the field to the graveyard, which the Engraver is untargetable, so we send the sequence instead. Now you may be thinking, wow, what the heck? He clapped him up with an Engraver, but we do have the ability, we don't have Lacrima to summon back the Ignumde during their end phase, which would have very much been ideal to then further summon the Desiree back, because we had to return the Crimson Tear back in the deck to even summon the Desiree. Top of the deck, Imperm, as returning the Moo Dragon into a Typhon. Typhon with the ability to return the Engraver back to the hand. To the battle phase we go, 2,900 to the face. Lurie is back in the deck, but do we play more than one Fiendsmith tracked? The in-hand Engraver is possibly dead. We're going to use the original Sinful Spoils Engrave to return a Diablo Star back in the deck to search our deck for a Hydrant. Normal summon the Lifter. Lifter on summon activating to search our deck for likely an emergency. No emergency quick play being added to summon another monster from the deck. as we're just ending our turn. That's it. We have no other play. 5,100 life. Off the top of the deck, we have an Ash Blossom to further negate the Hydrant on normal summon, and the Engraver is in fact dead in their hand. Moonveil now at 3,900 life. Off the top of the deck, an Extinguish, which is what we did not want to see. We're going to use the Ash Blossom to negate the Hydrant. Negated. No search for a Rescue Ace for you. Now we could Typhon, swing for 29, or we could use the Extinguish to wipe away the Typhon, as we could then use the Hydrant to search again during the next turn. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Extinguish away the Typhon. We have Daruma Cannon, which is no good against the already summoned Hydrant from a previous turn. If we were to draw phase, flip it down, it just flips right back up and then searches. Activate the Hydrant, searching for the Airlifter. Thus, we have to wait on the Daruma play to flip the entire field down. And if we flip the field down, they're going to follow up with an X Ryzeal. How do we have this much room? Rescue Ace, Ryzeal, Fiendsmith. What the heck? We're going to banish 2 cards from the grave to summon the Turbulence. And this is probably when we have to absolutely use the Daruma Cannon or we lose. Otherwise, the Turbulence is going to set up to 4 cards in the deck. Daruma, get flippin'. With the full field flip down, now you can summon the X Ryzeal, which can only search your deck if you control no other non-level 4 or rank 4, and if they're face down, they do not count. Thus, we do get to search thanks to the Daruma Cannon. Summon the Sword, Sword unsummoned, searching for the Ice. We don't have room to summon it until, well, I was going to say summon the Detonator into an extra monster zone. Now we still can't summon that. Well, we already used up our normal summon, that is. Smack them for 3k to the face. We have 4 pops plus a negate on the Ryzeal Detonator. That's no good. Start this off with a normal summon Ariana, activate a search for our big welcome Labyrinth, Drone Lockbird, so you now cannot activate the Fiendsmith track to search your deck. We're going to use the triple tactics talent to look at your hand, say goodbye to the X Ryzeal, returning it back in the deck. As we're now going to use the Arius to set into our back row our big welcome Labyrinth to make it activatable the turn it's set, activating it to summon from the deck our lovely Labyrinth, returning back the Ariana to trigger the lovely to non-target pop a card in the hand. Say goodbye to the Call by the Grave, as we're now going to further reset onto the field our big welcome Labyrinth. With big welcome and the lovely and also the regular welcome, we have the ability to set whatever trap we want from the deck, making it activatable that turn. We could also pop a card from the hand. As we activate the regular welcome to summon our lady, normal summon Lurie. So we know in their hand is an original Sinful and a Lurie. We do not know about the Extinguish, which who cares? It's a bad card at this moment. As we big welcome chain the lady to the big welcome, and thankfully popping the Call by the Grave, which could have chain link blocked the big welcome. As we set a Daruma from the deck, summoning a Clock, return it back to the hand, trigger the lovely to pop a card in the field or in the hand. Clock is going to activate to now make the Daruma activatable the turn it is set. Wipe away the Lurie. And scoop it. Yeah, straight up. That is the correct play here. Just get out of this duel. We got completely clapped up by that. And all that was stopped in game 1 by an Ash Blossom. Let's go. We're going to send our Drone Lockbird to summon our Diablo Star. Diablo Star activating to put in our back row. Original Sinful. Original Sinful is going to send Diablo Star to summon from the deck our Hydrant. Hydrant activating to search our deck for an Airlifter. So through the 3 pops and Aggregator and the field spell, we have 4 disruptions. 1 negate through Aggregator, we can negate or pop, and then the others are just pops. You could also Desiree non-target negate up to 2 cards on the field. We have the Apollo, which can negate up to 2 monster effects. We have Promethean and Grey, which could pop on special summon, but only once we have a fire monster on field. We also have Nibiru to tribute off the field. We also have Ash Blossom to negate an interaction with the deck. About 10 forms of disruption if we can get a fire monster on the field. How do we get a fire monster on the field, though? So I guess we'd have 9 disruption. Special summon our Fenrir, activate the Fenrir to search our deck for the Kashtira Unicorn. As we turn the Fenrir into a Typhon, which Typhon, I believe, is becoming a lot more relevant because it immediately turns off the Ryzeal Detonator. Ryzeal Detonator cannot chain pop in response to any activations now. To battle we go. On the attack, Desiree is going to negate the Typhon. Now, the Desiree is going to activate to send the Typhon to the graveyard because it is not at 3,000 attack or higher. Now, the Detonator is activatable again. We're going to use the Torby to discard triple tactics talent to set a trap for the deck as the Apollo USA negates. From here, we're going to activate Triple Tactics Talent, attempting to draw 2. Ash Blossom says, no to you. Negate. Now, from here, we're going to set Daruma past, not even setting the big welcome here. Engraver is going to send itself to the graveyard, searching for our Fiendsmith. Tracked is going to be searching for the Lurie, reborn itself back onto the field. As we now, so let me explain something interesting here. Let's say we activate the Requiem and then we chain Daruma to it. That'd be a bad play, right? But if you now chain Detonator to the Daruma to pop itself, the Daruma does not send the other Link monster to the graveyard. It has to at least flip a monster face down. So with that in mind, we possibly have a Ryzeal Detonator play to turn off the Daruma from doing anything besides getting rid of the Detonator. Requiem, activate some from the deck. Crimson Tear, send from the deck. Engraver, return back the Desiree. As you turn these 2 bodies into the sequence. So, what did I say? If Detonator pops itself, the sequence will still be able to activate. Should we do that? Well, the Detonator will just be flipped face down, then we'll flip it right back up, so maybe we don't even want to do that, but it's an option that you should understand how that ruling works. And we got rid of the 2 other bodies, or we could have got rid of the Detonator. Those are our 2 options. Hydrant, searching for a Turbulence as we scoop it up. 2-1 victory. And do you understand that ruling, correct? The Daruma says, then, if either player controls face-ups, they must send it to the graveyard. So anything before then, if that does not happen, after then, never, ever happens on any Yu-Gi-Oh card. And the before then is change as many monsters on the field as possible to face down. If we don't at least flip 1 monster face down, we then do nothing. Memento, with a side of GABUNGA, is up against Maliss. So obviously I would think our deck is built to beat Ryzeal. And if we're going to face off against Maliss, we're now going to be having to deal with the downsides of main decking cards like Droplet, which are most prevalently used against a Ryzeal Detonator, keeping it stuck on the field. It can't chain pop itself if you send a monster. Are you ready? Begin. Gold Sark banished from the deck. Kraken has no disruption whatsoever, so let's just speed on through this turn 1. Now with this, we have Ash negate interaction with the deck, Droll, disallow them from further adding, and we have the ability to imperm negate a monster. We could use Apollo to negate 2 more monster effects. We can crypt or non-target banish. We could use the effect of MTP to non-target banish. We could bind or banish from their graveyard, and let's go. No, I'm done. No, thank you. I will just hop in the next duel. We have Dark Blade. We're going to be facing off against a Droll, Maxi, and Druiswarm. The ideal Druiswarm is generally going to be banishing the Gaddock, trying to reborn from Engrave. We are under the effect of Maxi successfully not being negated as we now draw into a called by. How many special summons are we going to perform under the effect of Maxi? Now drawing into an impermanence. Imperm is going to negate the Sleepy from further fusion summoning, to which would have just given us another draw. Negate. Are we setting the Droplet then passing? Now we have our own Maxi, but they have a call by the grave to finger our Maxi as we Gold Sark, banish from the deck, Dormouse, summon, activate the Maxi, and then finger the C. Yes. The C has been fingered. Negate. So now Maliss is going to be clapping you up, mate. When do we use Forbidden Droplet? It can be really scary to use Forbidden Droplet without them committing to their normal summon. But we're going to do it anyway, because we're desperate. So we're going to just negate it early. Okay, don't modify. Yeah, just, it do be that way. You get Maxi, then you can't Maxi them. Completely fair. Let's hop into another match. Begin. We're going to send Ice to summon our Diabostar. We do have Imperm and Ash. We're going to use the Imperm right away to negate the Diabostars. We now can follow up with the Ash Blossom to negate what? Normal summon, Sword Ryzeal negates? Or special summon, since we sent from the Hands of the Graveyard Ice Ryzeal. Why didn't we special summon? We had the Diabostar sending from the, we have the Ice Ryzeal, You could, if you have a Ryzeal in your field or graveyard, you could special summon this card. Okay, what? Why normal? Did I miss out on something? We're now going to go into a Moon of the Closed Heaven, Moon into the Requiem, as the Ash has negated the sword. Further going into a Crimson Tear, send from the deck here, send from the deck an Engraver. Engraver, return back the Moon, reborn from Engrave. Further go into a Sequence, fuse the Grave. So through an impermanent Ash, we are still cooking, obviously, as we make the Fiend's Myth Lacrima, reborn back the Engraver, further going into the Wave King Caesar. Then end our turn. We have 2 special summon negates plus an Ash Blossom negate an interaction with the deck. Let's see what's good. Set the MTP, activate the White Rabbit, set a GWC. We're going to use the MTP to banish away the White Rabbit to attempt to search our deck as the Ash Blossom now negates. And then we have Caesar, which could negate the White Rabbit trying to summon back. We could then use the Caesar to, again, negate whatever we're trying to summon with the Maliss and Underground. So the Wave King Caesar has fully cooked Maliss in this matchup, negating 2 relevant effects here. Thus, I would say ending the duel. Dormouse try to summon. Caesar says, no way. No summon for you. Now, Wave King Caesar sucks against Ryzeal. The Ryzeal cards just special summon without activating, thus you can't even activate the Wave King Caesar. Set an Impulse and pass. GWC is not going to be so good here. We do have the ability to negate an effect to special summon. Engraver is going to be searching for the Track. Track is going to be searching for Lurie. Lurie's going to attempt to reborn. Do we want to Impulse? We do not. We now Lurie into the Requiem. Requiem summon for the deck. Do we want to Impulse? We do not. As we summon a Crimson Tear, summon for the deck here. Engraver, activate the sequence. We use the Impulse, which will not only negate, but also destroy the sequence due to having a trap in our graveyard. But that obviously is not going to be enough. GWC can help block an attack. And the White Rabbit can set from the deck a TB11 if we play it, which we probably don't. A lot of people have taken that out of their deck. So we just summon a Dormouse instead. Get the Dormouse in graveyard. Maybe we're going to draw into a card effect that can banish the Dormouse. Main phase 2 into Promethean Princess. Promethean Princess activate Reborn, the Sword Ryzeal, triggering on Reborn from a Promethean Princess. That is disgusting. Duo Drive is a freaking fire, which is summonable under the Promethean Princess for some reason. Dude, yeah, that's, let's get out of here. Wow. Okay. Mixing up fire with fire. Max C with no way to stop it. If you want to play around the triple tactics talent, which I feel like is growing in prevalence. Also, if you want to stop them from getting a free special summon off an X Ryzeal before you could even Max C, you want to use your Max C in the draw or standby phase. We're going to use it right away. Dormouse, banish from the deck, March Hare here, March Hare, add back to the hand. We have Malice and Mirror, which is activatable if we just want to pass on that. We have a special summon negate a monster on the field, plus Max freaking C. Max C in the draw phase. You did it to me, but I did not finger yours, you finger mine. Unfortunately, that's just how it be. Finger away our C as we're ready to negate a special summon and a monster on the field. Will this be good enough? They have 2 plays, and we have 2 negates. With the Requiem, we can activate the Impulse to negate. Now, normally you could not activate Impulse in the hand here because they have to control a card, but if you set the Impulse, you lose the 2 downsides of not requiring them to own a card on the field, and also you don't get locked out of the other attributes. Well, that Impulse was enough. Unfortunately, the emergency by itself is actually not a play because you need another Rescue Ace to send to the graveyard in order to get the effect of whatever you summon. 1 and 1. Triple emergency in the hand. That sucked. Let's go. Airlifter on summon searching for the emergency. We do have a Nibiru and a Magnum Hunt. So let's follow up. Well, should I be counting the summons or the disruptions? We'll just count the summons, yes? Even though it's on screen. 3. Get ready for the 4th summon. Preventer is here. The 5th summon into the Moon of the Closed Heaven. So ideally what our goal would be is to either summon an Apollo USA or a Wave King Caesar while still having other plays. The mistake would be to overcommit before making those cards and then get Nibiru'd. This is a good time to Nibiru, but this could also be a bait. You Nibiru the Duo Drive because it has to detach on the resolution of the effect, not by a cost. And then you follow up with Turbulence if it's summonable. And from Engrave, we could see that it is in fact summonable to then set up to 4 cards in the deck, which results into 3 disruptions. We don't. Nope, we're holding. Oh boy. Now the Duo Drive has no material under it, thus the cross will not be able to negate the Nibiru. We're gonna use the Magnum Hut to banish away the Engraver, stop it from reborning here. Negate. Not really negate, but banish. Summon a sword. Sword is going to be searching for an X Ryzeal. Nibiru right now. What were we afraid of here? Did we have to Nibiru before the X Ryzeal summons? So the fear would be you could, if the cross is already on the field and they're about to make a rank 4 Xyz, you then have to Nibiru. Or you could, on the activation of the cross, while they have the rank 4 Xyz before it resolves, you could then Nibiru the field. Let's now Turbulence. Okay, so what we actually benefited from here, there was a reason to do this before the X Ryzeal, I guess, if you did not want them to further extend, is to stop the search. They now can't search with the X Ryzeal because of a token. The token is blocking this because there has to be only rank 4 and level 4 monsters on the field alongside it. So I guess that's an interesting situation where if you want to Nibiru before the X Ryzeal. But now the Turbulence is coming forth, setting up to 4 cards from the deck. We could negate a monster, we could pop a monster. We could also give us the ability to flip a monster face down through the Preventer. And we also have a Call by the Grave, we have a Droll and Lockbird, we have 5 forms of disruption. We could surely play through 5, yes? Let's Gold Sark, banish the Chessie. Chessie reborn itself back onto the field here. We're going to rescue our Hydrant. The Hydrant's going to give additional abilities onto the Contain and Extinguish. If we, oh, that's a problem. One of the big downsides of the Rescue Ace deck type is that they are required to target cards. So if you could either make yourself untargetable or dodge the target, well, that's what the MTP is going to do. If we can't target the Chessie to negate it with the Contain, which then would further keep it stuck in the field so it can't link off into another body because the additional effect while having a Hydrant, we're going to use MTP to banish it away, and now we're in big trouble. And we're even chaining to it activating instead of preempting the Contain, which we're just going to MTP. MTP, dodge the target, draw 2, reborn itself back onto the field if it had not already been banished this turn, but it has already been banished this turn, so it's not going to come back. We're now going to be banishing the Dormouse, draw 2, Dormouse, summon itself back. We're now going to Droll and Lockbird, no more adding from the deck for you. Come back door, as we're going to extinguish it right away, destroy it. And it does have the additional effect of your opponent cannot activate the effects of that destroyed monster or monsters with the same original name this turn. So even if they have a way to get it back in the field, it's not going to be activatable. We're going to take control of the Turbulence, turning our Nibiru and Turbulence into a Phoenix. Discard to pop away the unknown card, being the Call by the Grave, to finger our Magnum Hut. Banish it away. This newly summoned Dormouse is not activatable. As we're now going to further turn these 2 bodies into our Link 3 Red Ransom. And we're out of disruption. That's it. We have nothing left. We gave up on the Preventer play by rescuing the Hydrant instead. Access the codes. We're going to boost up to 5,300 attack. We're going to use Alert on the Resolution. We're going to add a Preventer from Engrave back to the hand, but we can't get it onto the field. We're going to use the effect of the Lacrima Crimson Tear to reborn the Requiem here. I don't know if we're playing Fiendsmith in Paradise. We're not. So this is not an extra form of disruption. Access the codes, banish away the Red Ransom, taking up the token, trigger the Red Ransom, reborn itself back on the field here, banish in the deck a White Rabbit. White Rabbit come back, send to the back row, GWC. As we access the codes, further banishing the Phoenix to take out the Engraver. And just like that, 8,800 damage, mate. And this is what happens when everyone starts taking out Lancia. Oh boy.